Hey guys, welcome back to Reading Room, and as promised, today we have a book haul slash unboxing. So I'm going to bring over all the books or the packages, and I'm going to open each package and explain just why I was interested in buying this book and why I'm so impulsive with my buying. Alright, so I wish I could say this is all of them, but I still have more coming in the mail. So we'll probably have a part 2 of this video. And yeah, so these are just a few of the books I got. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, hey Angel, you didn't even read that fast. Why are you buying so many books? And you'd be right, because I don't read very fast, but I am interested in a lot of topics, so I just figured might as well buy them while they're on sale before they go off sale and I have to waste more money, because I'm probably getting them anyways. So I already marked off all the information or whatever, so nobody can come and take all my books, but I just feel like I'm too happy for this right now. I feel like a kid at a candy store, but we're just going to get started with this one. So something I like about buying books online is, one, you can find more like options to buying them, more sites, so you probably get a better deal than if you were to go in person. And two, you get the dopamine effect twice. One, of buying it, and then two, when it actually arrives and you get to open it. So when it actually comes in, it feels like it's free because you already paid for it. Alright, so I don't know what that is, but the first book is The Way of the Superior Man. So I actually heard about this book from a friend back in college. Take a look at a book like this, because usually I buy books more of like business or success oriented or things like that, and this is just a bit of a change for me. So I thought maybe I could learn a few things, and maybe I wouldn't like some things from it, but regardless, it might just be interesting to read about. But yeah, that's a bit about this one. Just thought it was interesting, and I'm pretty sure I found this one on Thrift Books. Let me actually go over all the pricing, because I did make an Excel spreadsheet with all my purchases so I could track them more. So it'll actually be helpful in this case. Way of the Superior Man was $8.37. Okay, so this is more of on the expensive end. Something must have triggered where I really wanted it at the time, but $8 isn't too bad, honestly. So we'll do the totals at the end of the video and add it all up, see how much I spent on this section of the haul. Alright, next one, it's an Amazon package. I think it's a book. You know, sometimes you just don't have to wait for Christmas to come, you just buy yourself things. Alright, this one is called I don't know if I could pronounce that on YouTube without getting banned for life. That Yourself. So, a friend actually recommended this one to me. It's big on mindset and awareness, and so just being like really aware of your actions and the way you think and the way you behave, and also about like things that you imagine hold you back but aren't really holding you back. I really like books like that, because sometimes I feel like in order to get going and just move forward, I first have to fix my mindset before I can try to put energy anywhere. So I like kind of prioritizing my own mindset. Otherwise I just end up in a chaotic energy dispersed. But yeah, so it's in good condition, and this one was $13. A lot of the hardcovers, if they're only printed in one print, they're more expensive. A lot of them, if they're paperback or they're mass produced, they're gonna be a lot cheaper, and those are usually I get on thriftbooks.com. So yeah, it's a little bit about this one. I think this one's gonna be from eBay. eBay usually packages in this white packaging, but third-party seller, so. Alright, what got you here won't get you there. Now, this book I was really excited about. So I think after high school, I kind of just wanted to go to college because I figured it was the next step. And it did require a bit more effort. But after graduating college, I feel like there was a lot less just inherent direction of where to do or what to do. So then you kind of had to create your own. And that was hard enough alone, of knowing what you want to do. It's kind of scary. But also, once you figure that thing out, you have to realize, well, if it's a very big goal, what got you to that point, what got you to this point won't necessarily get you to the next point. So that's a very big just concept underlying itself. But it's also very important because it's very true. I feel like just because you got through one thing and you got success, and it doesn't necessarily mean you're a master at whatever it is you want to do next. So it might require more effort, or it might require a different thinking process, but just the title alone really caught my eyes. And then I read a little bit more about it online and saw a review. I just wanted to get it. It's something I've already been thinking about, and when I saw the title, I had to have it. So what got you here won't get you there. So for anybody looking to take the next leap, whether it's a job promotion, working on their own, starting their own business, it's very important to realize, even if it was hard, whatever you did before, whatever you're doing now or next might be even harder, but just realizing that that's normal is very refreshing, because then you know exactly what you're getting yourself into, and if you still choose to do it, there's really no excuse or no surprises. I think I know what this one is. It's also an Amazon package, and it just came in today. I didn't know how many I should wait for before I made a video about them, so this one just came in today, and it was a pretty big box, big enough so where the thumbnail looked reasonable, so I figured I'd start today. Alright, so this one is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So I made a video briefly discussing Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, and I mentioned that he talked about his interviews where he interviewed the most successful people in the world and kind of realized their success habits. Sorry, that's actually Think and Grow Rich. Okay, so in Outwitting the Devil, he actually interviews the devil, but that's based on this book where he interviews some of the most successful people in the world. On that book, he looks towards the opposite to see what's holding people back. So he goes on both sides of the spectrum. I love Napoleon Hill just for the fact that he put in so much work without actually being guaranteed any kind of profits. His interviews were basically an idea. He was told, hey, well, go interview some of these best people. You're gonna gain value, not very monetarily, but you're gonna really change the world if you do it, and you do it right, and you put all of your attention and your focus in it. And throughout that, he came up with all the principles from Think and Grow Rich, and also a few other books. But just his pure devotion towards finding answers was really kind of motivational, and really with no monetary backing. And for him just focusing on doing the right thing and finding value, he ended up getting rewarded very monetarily as well. But his whole purpose was not focused around it. So Think and Grow Rich, it kind of sounds like a cheesy title, but don't let it get to you. I know with me, I read it and then I heard good things about it and I couldn't connect the two. I was like, it sounds really kind of cheesy. Like, I didn't want it to be just like another, or some kind of like get rich quick scheme or something. But I put my ego aside and I kind of paid attention, and this is one of the best books I've read. So Think and Grow Rich, pretty excited to have this one. I actually had this book ready. Like I mentioned, I read it before. But my last copy I lent out to my girlfriend, and she was really interested in the book, which I was pretty excited about. So I let her have that one so she can not be rushed, or really she could read it on her own time and not feel like she has to give it back or that it's not hers. So I just gave it to her and bought my own copy again. And I really love this cover too. So yeah, Think and Grow Rich. You got another Amazon package. Ooh, 2 books in here actually. Cool. Alright, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So I've actually never had this book, but I've heard that it's one of the best like financial / like self-improvement books ever made. And I didn't think it was going to be this small, to be honest with you. I hope I got the right copy. But with this book, I've heard that it's Robert Kiyosaki, and he had a rich dad and a poor dad. One of them was more of an advisor. I'm not sure which one. I think his actual dad was the poor dad, and his advisor was the rich dad that he kind of interrelated. They both had the best intentions. They both kind of gave them as best advice that they can, but they both understood different things. His poor dad would tell him kind of stay in school, get a job, stay steady, which is great advice. It builds you a very stable financial base and for a living as well. His rich dad explained that if you start your own business or go into investments, you have better leverage and you'll make more over time. So it's really interesting because both of his advisors had good intentions, but they just knew different things, and he kind of explains both of them and realizes so he'll go throughout the book and explain the different concepts and say, hey, well, In this case, his rich dad said this. In this case, his poor dad says this. And a lot of times it's things that we normally hear and we can relate to. But every time he makes a decision that's more, even though he understands both decisions and what they do, he realizes, well, one's going to kind of has restrictions on it, the other one has more potential. And if he's in a position where he can do something, he'll choose whichever one he can. So it's like you're choosing between two paths. And it's not your fault if you don't know the paths, but this book kind of opens them up. And once you kind of become aware of it, it's more of a choice rather than like misguidance or kind of just drifting. And the second book in this package, The Art of Learning. So I've heard about this book a lot, and I really like the cover. It's pretty cool and bright. So yeah, I think especially when I'm reading so much, and now I'm going to be reading even more to make this video so I can have more to explain. But even just at work or learning things on the side like programming or anything, or graphic design, YouTube video, like anything learning wise, guitar. If you're ever trying to learn anything, this kind of like just puts a good base on like how to learn or how to retain more, or the art of learning. So I haven't actually read this book before, but from what I've heard, it's a good base to start off of before actually kind of putting energy into learning, because it teaches you where to focus, put your energy towards, so you're more efficient at it. So pretty cool book, pretty cool idea, neat. Oh, cool. The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. So I've been wanting this book for years. I saw it at Target one time and it was $25. I waited a few years, and recently I found it online for about $4. So I thought it was time to pull the trigger on this one. But The Alchemist, it's a story. So this one isn't like information or kind of like advice. This one's more of a story about a guy who kind of has the two paths, focusing on his goals and working towards something, or just kind of staying stagnant and living the standard lifestyle. And for him, he never wanted to live the standard lifestyle. And throughout the years, he realizes that he still wants to do something. And even though it's later in life, he still comes to the ultimatum of whether he wants to do something or not. Finally decides to do it and realize that waiting didn't help him at all. And that it was always something that he wanted to do. So pretty cool, because I realized that I haven't read this book before, but from what I've heard, it's just really interesting. That even though it's super later in life, there's never like a chance to give up. As long as you're living and you have breath, like you can always try. And it's a worthwhile time if you do try. Even if you don't necessarily get what you want, but I think if you're enjoying it, I mean, that should be more than enough. So it just depends on your goal. But it's just a really interesting book and a cool story that I've heard about, so decided to buy the book while it was on sale. So this is only half of all the things I bought. When the other ones come in, I'll pile them up again and make another video, but for now, I think this is a pretty good stack. A lot of pretty popular books in this pile. Think and Grow Rich, you got Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Art of Learning. So if you're familiar with development books, a lot of these should be very recognizable. And I'm super happy that they're now going to be in my library. So if you guys are interested in any of these books, leave a comment down below. Let me know which one you buy, or whichever storyline sounds the most interesting to you. If you could leave that down in the comments, I'd be super interested to know. Feel free to check out the previous videos, such as the best 3 books in my library, or top 3 books to read during quarantine, or The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I went over the intro on that one, but those videos should be live by now. So if you're interested in either of those, check those out. And thanks for watching, guys, and until next time.